You know, when you think of Carl Sagan, you probably think of stars and planets. But he was so much more than just an astronomer. He was kind of like a guide, someone who invited every single one of us on this grand tour of the cosmos. He just wanted us to understand our place in it all, and that whole journey really started with one big idea. And this is it. This is the idea that's at the heart of everything. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Just think about that for a second. Our curiosity, our ability to ask questions, that's not something separate from the universe. That is the universe basically waking up and becoming aware of itself. It's a huge thought, and it's what drove his entire life's work. So that's the big question, isn't it? How did one person, a kid from Brooklyn, manage to do all of that? How do you go from that to solving planetary mysteries, designing messages for aliens, and even warning world leaders about the end of the world? Well, that's what we're here to do. Let's connect those dots. Okay, so first things first. Before all the fame, before Cosmos, there was the science. And we're not just talking about any science. This was truly groundbreaking work. It's easy to forget, but Sagan wasn't just a great communicator. He was a brilliant, top-tier scientist solving some of the solar system's biggest puzzles. And his journey started super early. I mean, he was just a little kid at the 1939 World's Fair when he got this idea about sending messages into the future. From there, his career just took off like a rocket. He started at the University of Chicago when he was just 16 years old. It was clear right from the start he was a serious mind. And look, these weren't just small discoveries. This was major league stuff. At the time, a lot of scientists thought Venus might be some kind of tropical, swampy planet. But Sagan, in his PhD thesis, argued, nope, it's a scorching hot hellscape because of a runaway greenhouse effect. And guess what? NASA's Mariner 2 probe flew by and proved he was absolutely right. He did the same for Mars, showing that the seasonal dark spots people thought might be vegetation were actually just giant dust storms. This was foundational stuff. But here's the thing. For Sagan, just knowing this stuff wasn't enough. He had this deep belief that science belonged to everybody, not just people in labs. And this idea, well, it's what shot him into the public eye and, created some serious drama in his professional life. I mean, just try to wrap your head around this number. 500 million people. That's how many are estimated to have watched his series Cosmos. It's just staggering. This wasn't just some TV show. It was a global event that completely changed how an entire generation saw the universe. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? This fame created a real conflict. In the traditional world of academia, being a TV star was, well, it was looked down on. The feeling was, if you're spending all your time on television, you can't possibly be doing serious research. Sagan found himself caught right in the middle of this clash. In fact, this problem got so well known they actually named it after him, the Sagan Effect. It's this idea that the more popular a scientist becomes with the public, the less respect they often get from their peers. And this had real consequences. I mean, despite publishing hundreds of scientific papers, he was denied tenure at Harvard. His popularity absolutely came at a professional price. But Sagan's vision for communication didn't just stop at Earth's atmosphere. Oh no. He wanted to talk to the whole galaxy. He was a key player in creating humanity's first messages in a bottle, tossed into the cosmic ocean. The Pioneer plaque and the Voyager golden record, these were his way of talking to whoever or whatever might be out there. It's the ultimate form of outreach. Now, you might think that staring into the vastness of space would make you feel detached from our little problems here on Earth. For Sagan, it was the complete opposite. Looking at our world from so far away gave him this urgent, powerful sense of responsibility to protect it. So back in the 80s, at the height of the Cold War, he and his team used the very same climate models they used for other planets to ask a terrifying question about our own. What would actually happen after a nuclear war? Their conclusion was horrifying. The explosions were just the beginning. The real killer would be the nuclear winter that followed, when all the soot would block out the sun, freezing the planet and causing civilization to collapse. And this is where it all connects so beautifully. The exact same science he used to figure out why Venus was a hothouse back in the 60s, he walked right into the U.S. Congress in 1985 and used it to warn them about the dangers of climate change here on Earth. You see, for him, these weren't separate issues. It was all one big, continuous story. And don't think for a second that this was just some academic exercise. His work had a direct, world-changing impact. The leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, said himself that Sagan's nuclear winter research was a major reason he decided to push for deep cuts in nuclear weapons. This was science saving lives on a massive scale. So what did he leave us with? In his final years, Sagan really focused on giving us the tools to navigate our complicated world. He wanted to give us, in his words, a candle in the dark. In his book, The Demon-Haunted World, he gave us this amazing toolkit he called the Baloney Detection Kit. The point wasn't to tell people what to think. It was to give us the tools of science, like questioning authority and spotting bad arguments, so we could figure things out for ourselves. It was about empowerment. But maybe his most powerful, most lasting message came from one final, incredible request he made. As the Voyager 1 spacecraft was speeding out of our solar system, Sagan pushed and pushed for NASA to do something unheard of, to turn its camera around and take one last picture. And they did it. From almost 4 billion miles away, past the orbit of Neptune, it captured an image of our home. And in that picture, our entire world is just a single point of light, a tiny pixel in the dark. Sagan's words about this pale blue dot are, well, they're everything. It's this profound perspective shift. On that tiny dot, every person you've ever heard of, everyone you love, every king and peasant, every hero and coward lived out their entire lives. It's just the ultimate lesson in humility and our shared responsibility. In the end, what he showed us is that skepticism and wonder aren't opposites. They're two sides of the same coin, the essential tools we need to understand the universe and to protect our home. He lit the candle for us. The question he leaves behind is, who's going to pick it up and carry it forward?